Yes, please, after the intro. Yeah. I mean, I can talk right now if you want.
Yeah, we could probably, we can get it going.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
To go.
Fans, please direct your attention to half court. Joining head coach Megan Duffy is our senior guard, Jordan King. During last Sunday's game against Seton Hall, Jordan scored her 1,000th career point in Marquette. They got it up to the third and second player in program history to reach this mark. Let's hear it, 1,000 points. Jordan King.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
The McGuire Center for today's non-conference matchup featuring the visiting Loyola Ramblers and your Marquette Eagles. At this time, we ask you to please stand as you are able. Please remove your caps and join us in honoring America with the singing of our national
Okay.
anthem performed today.
All right. Just should we just say anything or just treat it like the open?
Hello, hello. Hello.
Sounds good. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here from the McGuire Center on Marquette TV. I'm Jackson Gross, joined alongside my partner and friend Trevor Hilson, as we're just a few minutes away from your Marquette women's basketball team as they will take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers, a battle between two Midwest Jesuit schools here on this Saturday afternoon here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Trevor, before the game, they honored Jordan King. She scored her 1,000th point here, last Sunday against Seton Hall. What does doing that just mean for this program and to have another player with 1,000 career points?
Yeah, certainly. It's such an exciting milestone for Jordan King. Really excited for her and that accomplishment. She's been a part of the team all 4 years, and it's just really cool to see how she's matured as a player and also earned that honor.
Yeah, maturing as a person and a player as well.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the first in her family to graduate from college, as now she's in the graduate program here at Marquette. But that's not the only player that's having a great season so far. Chloe Murata. She's been averaging over 15 points a game. The first time in her career she's averaging over 10, and she's shooting 91% from the free throw line.
Yeah, her role has really expanded heading into this season, especially after Lauren Van Clunen and Carissa McLaughlin left the team. So her getting that expanded role, her moving to different position, playing the 4 now, has really allowed her to prosper as a player.
So we take a look at the starting lineup for Marquette, the usual cast of characters they've been using the past couple of games. The transfer student, Nia Clark from Xavier, she's starting at guard alongside Rose McHugh and the aforementioned King. While junior forward Liza Carlin and Chloe Murata will be handling the front court for the Golden Eagles. And we've been talking about some players to highlight today. Another big one has been from an unlikely source as a first-year student. Mackenzie Hare, she's shooting over 33% from the three-point line as a first year. It's something you don't see a ton of in college basketball.
No, it's not. And Coach Duffy has allowed her to have free reign on whatever shot she wants. And clearly she can hit them. She's one of the most successful three-point shooters in Illinois State high school history. So letting her have that confidence and the ability to take the shots that she wants is really going to allow her to prosper as a player. And I've been impressed with how she's been able to shoot to start this season as well.
The fourth most three-pointers made, 389. The fourth most in Illinois State high school basketball history. But we're just about to get this one underway as Liza Carlin wins the tip for the Golden Eagles. And Marquette will have the first possession here on this Saturday afternoon. As Murata looks, finds King on the wing, finds Carlin at the top of the key. She'll just fire over to Murata, and she shoots a mid-range, no good, and it's rebounded by Nolan. Here comes Maya Chandler. She had 23 points in the loss Wednesday against DePaul. She's guarded by Murata now, trying to find someone. She finds Sophia Nolan. Back over to Anna Brown. Nolan now. Let's go a handoff. Now Brown drives on Carlin. Layup blocked! What a play from Liza Carlin.
She's in the right place at the right time. Great execution. She didn't bring her hands down too early or too late, which would result in a foul. And great defensive play from Liza Carlin.
3 seconds on the shot clock now as Nolan works against Murata, and the shot's blocked again.
Marquette staunching defense inside early in this ball game.
Here comes Akumu on the break, and she scores the layup. The first points today from either side.
Rose Akumu, nice layup. No defense on that play. You have to take that as a player. Great move.
It's averaging 5.6 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 1.6 steals on the season from the junior guard from Iowa City. As Maya Chandler tries to find somebody, can't find anybody. She's still in the paint, throws the ball away, and that's going to be Marquette's ball.
Talking with Coach Duffy yesterday, she said a big part of playing defense today would be to not allow Loyola Chicago to kick the ball back out from inside. They like to go into the paint and work it back outside. Great example of that there.
As Murata finds King again, sets a screen right. King drives, floater, no good, but rebounded by Carlin. Now it's picked up by Murata. King, two-pointer, good.
Jordan King picking up right where she left off. Great offensive rebounding efforts from Carlin and Murata.
And that's something Loyola Chicago has really struggled with. Out of 358 teams ranked, as Nia Clark almost gets the steal. Out of 358 teams ranked, they are dead last in the country in rebounding and getting rebounded almost by 7 a game as Nakumu almost gets that one steal.
And Marquette out-rebounds teams by over 7 a game. So interesting dynamic for this ball game.
Yeah, not something Loyola Chicago would want to go up against in terms of how Marquette plays offense and defense. As Sophia Nolan works against Murata, trying to find somebody at the mid-post. Can't find anybody. One on the shot clock, and here comes King the other way. She drives up, fouled. Ew, no good, but what a strong play from Jordan King.
Another great example of what I said on the last possession. They're not allowing Loyola Chicago to kick the ball back out. It's totally killing their offense and really hurting them on that end. Great awareness by Jordan King, picking that pass off like a cornerback, and now she's awarded with 2 free throws at the line.
Yeah, and it's really Marquette. When the players out there like that, it's basically you have to know how many passes away your person that you're guarding is away. If they're one person away, you got to be in that denial position, and then if they're 2 passes away, you have to be able to make sure to support and help. As Jordan King goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and Marquette leads 5-0 here so far early in the first quarter. As Brown now finds Nolan, no back cut available. Maya Chandler fires a 2. No good off to the far side of the rim, and here comes Nia Clark and the Golden Eagles.
Maya Chandler has to get shots that she's comfortable with if Loyola wants to have offense. She's their leading scorer the last 2 years.
As Carlin fell down after setting the screen, here comes Nakumu! She gets inside, and now that's 4 points on the day for Nakumu.
Tough bucket off the screen. She had some defense in her face from Chandler. Great lay.
Here's Nolan now. Basically on the Marquette logo. Tries to find somebody. Can't find anybody. Being denied. Down low. And it's going to be Marquette ball.
Loyola really likes to run their offense through Nolan and let her kind of find the passes. And Marquette's doing a great job of not letting her find those.
As now it'll be Nakumu coming the other way. Finds Murata at the top of the key. Trying to find King inside. Gets it to Carlin instead. She spins, goes low, and misses the layup short, but it's tipped and stolen away. King thought about a 3, now takes the 2 short. Here comes Carlin with an offensive rebound. She rips it away. It's a jump ball, and it will be Loyola ball.
Getting the jump ball there is huge for Loyola. A little momentum boost, a little bit of energy, allowing you to get the ball back and go the other way after having a turnover forced in the last possession.
Yeah, and we were talking about Nolan earlier. She's barely averaging under 1 assist a game, but I imagine that she's able to create some other opportunities by just moving the ball around. As Jayla Johnson takes a mid-range shot, it's no good, and rebounded by Carlin.
It's the assist to an assist.
The hockey assist.
Yes, absolutely.
As Murata finds Clark, has to gather it. She'll drive and get an easy layup, and that's going to be a timeout from Coach Guth.
Marquette has had their way inside so far in this game. A lot of good layups, and Loyola certainly needs to reset the floor here and try and get something going offensively. They've just had no success.
I mean, outside of that free throw from King and a mid-range shot she hit, all 6 points. The other 6 points have come inside on 3 layups, so certain that's a point of emphasis for Coach Duffy and the Golden Eagles today.
Yeah, it is, and it's clearly worked. They haven't had a whole lot of defensive pressure inside. And Nkumu has had two nice layups, and then Nia Clark with the one right there.
Let's take a quick look, and it is Rose Nkumu who's leading the team in stats today with 4 points already on the afternoon. As mentioned, she's averaging 5.6 a game. You know, something else we were talking about, like obviously Mackenzie Hare's having a really good season so far as a first year, but one player that's kind of been struggling for Marquette has been Emily LaChapelle. She was a top 24 recruit in the country, or a 4-star recruit by ESPN, but she hasn't had a lot of traction going so far this season for Marquette.
No, she hasn't. We talked about how she's doing everything right. The ball's just not going through the hoop. She's just struggled to find her confidence shooting, and I think that not only comes with time, but also experience in the college game.
Yeah, we were talking with Jaden Johnson earlier, one of the communications directors here at Marquette, and he was telling us essentially that she needs to get a reset game in at this point to kind of start building rhythm, because basketball and scoring is based all on rhythm and how you're feeling. It's just hard to get a ton of rhythm when you're not going to get a ton of playing time.
Absolutely, and she was a start at the beginning of the season, and that just with her inability to make shots that kind of pushed her out of the lineup for a little more efficient scores. But yeah, no, I think that LaChapelle, you're right, and Jaden's right too. She needs a reset game, and this is a perfect opportunity to get that.
Yeah, and while she's not having the greatest season this year, Coach Duffy and her staff said that she's confident that she'll be a Marquette star in the making in the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, the college game doesn't come quickly. It takes a little time to adjust, and I think for LaChapelle, it's really a slower process.
See how she can do moving forward this season, and obviously you're talking a good opportunity. Loyola coming in 3-7, a 20-point blowout loss against DePaul on Wednesday. They're going through a bit of a rebuild. We were talking with Coach Duffy, Allison Guth, her first year at the helm of this program after being an assistant coach. And it's just hard. They switched conferences this year. It's just a lot to go through for one team.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of hard to get thrown in there first year with a new everything. But also that's kind of nice, too. There's some pros to the situation.
As Chandler goes for a shot, it misses. Kennedy Miles, who checked in during the timeout, she gets the board, and Marquette will come the other way as Loyola is 0-5 from the field to start out this afternoon's contest. And she finds Emily LaChapelle. It's off her fingertips, and that'll be Loyola ball.
That's a good look from Kennedy Miles. LaChapelle needs to be there. That's an easy layup and a perfect start to that reset game.
And I mean, talking about doing everything right at this point, she made a really good cut, a really good pass, and it's just unlucky. It goes off her fingertips.
Yeah.
As Jayla Johnson probes inside, handoff, it's up and good. Loyola finally with their first points on the afternoon.
Sam Gallinopoulos, someone who Coach Duffy talked about, was a focal point of the offense. She really wanted to focus on her and Maya Chandler.
Yeah, averaging 10.8 points per game and 2.9 assists as they find Jordan King down low. Miles to King, and Marquette responds, but here comes Loyola the other way. Chandler drives, reverse layup is good.
And just like that, the two focal points of Loyola's offense getting on the board. Huge momentum gainer coming out of the timeout.
That was a nice layup from Maya Chandler on the reverse, working against Kennedy Miles. As Miles finds King down low, she goes up for a layup, bank shot off, and it's good.
How often do you see a guard posting up like that? That's a different look. That it just shows the capabilities that Jordan King has as a scorer.
I mean, she is a bit of a taller guard as Maya Chandler gets inside, but she's fouled and misses the layup. I mean, Jordan King is a 5'11 guard. That's almost tall as some of their forwards. I mean, Liza Carlin and Kennedy Miles are only 6'2".
Right, you take advantage of the mismatch down low. Loyola Chicago does come in a little smaller. The tallest player standing at 6'2", and Satori Tannen.
Yeah, she's their leading rebounder at 5.8 a game off the bench. You think a team struggling in the rebounding department would want to start someone who's your leading rebounder in the starting lineup.
Yeah, hey, I mean, it just depends on what kind of set you're trying to run offensively, how you want to match up defensively. Maybe it just isn't a fit for her. And it is odd, though. It is odd.
As Chandler also goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And Marquette will come the other way. Nia Clark on the wing. She finds La Chapelle. Now back to King on the wing. She drives between the legs, dribble, finds Miles down low. She tries to find somebody, and she almost saw La Chapelle in the wing, but it's tipped and stolen away by the Ramblers.
Marquette's used that pick and pop the last few possessions, and it's been really effective at creating chances.
As Jayla Johnson throws that one away, saying it was tipped off of Eliza Carlin. Kennedy Miles comes out. Micaiah Williams comes in. 6-foot forward, sophomore out of Chicago. Probably not too far for Loyola Chicago's campus. As Williams, of course, she comes in and then has to guard Loyola's best player. As she drives, and another reverse layup, and she gets the bucket.
Yeah, but Kyle Williams kind of played off at Chandler, not trying to draw a foul there. Easy layup for Chandler. She was going to win either way.
As King hands off to La Chapelle, she drives left, goes up, layup, and she hits.
Emily La Chapelle getting on the scoreboard here.
There goes Chivers. Driving on King, finding Nolan, three-pointer, good. Emma Nolan hits the first 3 of the afternoon, and Loyola's only down by 5, 15-10.
Out of the timeout, they really were able to reset and get their offense going. They're on a nice run here.
Carlin tries to find somebody with 14 on the shot clock. She tries to find Williams, but it's a turnover for Marquette. Their 3rd of the afternoon.
Uncharacteristic mistake for Liza Carlin there. That was kind of a forced pass.
It was a good look, but just a little too high on the passes. Nukumu comes in and King comes out. Kole Murata back into the game for Marquette. Here comes Loyola. Jayla Johnson. Now she finds. Now it's back over to Johnson. Maya Chandler guarded by Nukumu. Floater, bank shot, good.
Maya Chandler is showing that she can score at multiple levels.
It's stolen away by Chivers. And it's going to be a jump ball, and it'll be a point for Marquette. Chandler up to 7 points on the afternoon with 2:09 left in the first quarter.
Chandler showing that she can score at multiple levels, not just right underneath the basket, as she had a mid-range shot there.
And Mackenzie Hare is heading to the scorer's table for the first time this afternoon. She'll check in the next dead ball as La Chapelle finds a three-pointer. Oh, off the rim, no good. And Murata, too much on that layup attempt as it goes off glass. And Loyola will come the other way with a chance to tie or cut the deficit to 1. Maddie Scarborough with the ball now. She hands it off. Marquette switches it. Now La Chapelle on her. Another handoff. This time for Chandler. Between the legs, dribble for Chandler. Now Murata's on her. 3 seconds on the shot clock. She drives, and oh my goodness. Maya Chandler, another layup, and Loyola's cut Marquette's lead to just 1.
That's a lot of confidence, taking a shot over Chloe Murata like that. She averages almost a block a game.
As Micaiah Williams gets her shot blocked. And now Loyola with a chance to take the lead.
Quite the turn of events after not scoring in the first 4 minutes of the ball game.
Yeah, those really turned their offense around. They started 0 for 5. They are now 6 for 11. Nukumu guards Chivers. Scarborough. Screen from Nolan. And it looked like she stepped out of bounds on the baseline. That'll be Marquette ball with 41 seconds left in this first quarter with Marquette down by 1.
Mackenzie Hare checking in for Nia Clark. Would be surprised if she gets a look here on this possession.
See if they drop a three-pointer for her. She's already had 3 games this season with more than 10 threes attempted in a single game. As La Chapelle has it now. Gets a screen from Murata. She drives. Finds Hare in the corner. Bounce pass now. Williams drives. It's going to be a blocking foul with 20.5 on the clock. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
McGuire Williams a full head of steam, and the defender just could not keep up with it. That foul goes on Jayla Johnson. Wrong place at the wrong time.
She probably was in the restricted area as
Yeah.
they get to La Chapelle down low. Floater, and she got it.
Great look from Emily LaChapelle. Got to get a shot to fall on that possession, especially with the time situation. Loyola can hold for the last shot.
With just 5 seconds on the clock, Chandler guarded by Hare. 2 seconds. 1 second. They get it to Lowen, and it's blocked. Micaiah Williams ends the quarter with a bang. And she blocks the shot from Emma Nolan. And Marquette will head into the first quarter break up 17-14.
Great first quarter from Marquette. What a great way to end it, too. Micaiah Williams, the right place at the right time, blocking that shot. It was a good look, but I think that Loyola need to get a different shot up than that. They really struggled to find that pass, especially with how close it was to the buzzer.
Yeah, I mean, you think you want to get the last shot of a quarter in Maya Chandler's hands, but
Yeah.
they found what they thought was a good play. It was just good rotation from Micaiah Williams on that one. And what are you just seeing from this game so far, Trevor, in terms of Loyola? They were down 11-2 with 4:47 left in the quarter. They ended it on a 12-6 run to bring it within 3 points.
Yeah, I think the timeout did a whole lot for Loyola to reset the game plan, reset the offense, and kind of go into it with a different look. And it clearly worked. I mean, that's a great way to end the corner for Loyola. They were able to get the ball into Maya Chandler's hands, which is something they have to do to compete in ball games, especially since she's her leading scorer. And, yeah, no, impressive turnaround after the first 5 minutes of the game really didn't go their way.
And it really has been Maya Chandler leading the attack offensively. She's got 9 of the 14 points. Only missed 2 shots and a free throw. Meanwhile, for Marquette, it's been a little bit more spread out, as Jordan King has 7 points, Nakumu has 4 points, Emily LaChapelle has 4 points, and Nia Clark has 2 for Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette's really created good looks offensively. The pick and pop that they've ran, especially saw it with Kennedy Miles and Jordan King, is super effective. They were really able to create shots through that. The lane's been wide open all day for Marquette. Several layups early on, especially saw 2 from Rose and Kumu and 1 from Nia Clark, something they can take advantage of in this game.
One of the other big things for Marquette this season that Coach Duffy really talked about was the depth on this team. You know, you felt like a little bit last year if Lauren Van Clunen or Carissa McLaughlin weren't having a good game, it was going to be tough for Marquette to stay in it. But Marquette has so many different scorers they can go to. They have 3 players averaging over 14 points a game, Jordan King, Liza Carlin, Chloe Murata, but they also have that secondary scoring with Mackenzie Hare. She's averaging 9 points a game. And I think that's a huge difference for this Marquette team heading into more Big East play down the road.
Absolutely, and having that depth and the ability to have multiple scorers instead of just relying on 2 is going to make this team so hard to beat in February and March, where it really matters.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough road for any team out of the Big East this season. I mean, there's a potential for 5 or 6 teams to make the tournament this year. I mean, St. John's is off to an incredible start. They're 9-0, 2-0 in the conference. And then obviously you got the familiar names. You got Seton Hall, UConn, DePaul, Creighton, Villanova, and Marquette.
Yeah, the conference is absolutely loaded this year, and the fact that there's a chance for them to have that many bids is so special.
As Jordan King gets the block on that last play.
Have to create deflections defensively like they were in the first quarter. That was one of the reasons why Marquette was able to get off on such a hot start. They were able to create turnovers in the defensive end and turn it into points.
Big point of emphasis for this Marquette team, and I believe it's an offensive foul on Emma Nolan, and it'll be Marquette ball here near the beginning of the second quarter.
Yeah, Marquette's created 5 points off of turnovers, most of those coming in that first 5-minute stretch.
And that's something they really pride themselves on and really focus on is Loyola comes out in a bit of a press here, but Marquette's able to break it with Hare now getting over to Murata. Nakumu drives. King, 3-ball. Yes!
Great ball movement from Marquette. They were able to break the press and find a good look only seconds later. Jordan King with a nice 3-point bucket. Easy look for her.
As now it's Sophia Nolan. Now to Anna Brown, handoff for Maya Chandler. She drives on Nakumu. Now Brown thought about a 3, decides to drive, switched on to Nakumu. Now Carlin will have to try and guard Chandler. Working. Still trying to find a way. She gets the mid-range shot. Oh, the shot and into the shot clock. And that'll be Marquette coming the other way. Hare up to Nakumu. Looking for somebody. Finds Murata. Fakes a pass inside. I believe that's going to be a
And a Brown foul.
Yep, foul on Anna Brown.
Played a little too tight there. There's always a line for each referee on how tight a defense you can play. And you got to just find that middle ground where it's not a foul, but it's tight enough where you're creating some havoc on the defensive end.
Anna Brown, a senior guard from Waukee, Iowa. As Jordan King inbounded from Loyola's bench over to Nakumu. Gets it over to Carlin, who's guarded by Nolan. She finds King. King floater. Ooh, a little too strong on that one. It's rebounded by Carlin. Mid-range shot is short. Tipped, still loose. And Sophia Nolan finally able to corral the ball.
Yeah, a lot of fighting for that one on the second chance effort. Loyola, if they can pick up a couple more defensive rebounds, it's going to be really effective for them in turn on the offensive end.
Current rebounding battle is even at 8-8 so far here this afternoon. There's 5 seconds on the shot clock. Chandler tries to get a shot up. Oh my goodness! What a tough finish from Maya Chandler. She's got 11 points.
Maya Chandler showing right away why she was the freshman of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference in 2020 and 2021 and why she's been such an effective scorer, being the team leader in the last 2 years. That is a really tough finish.
She could be well on her way to another career high. As Nolan has the ball once again. And trying to find Chandler. They can't. That's a 5-second call, I believe. That's a turnover for Nolan and the Ramblers, and it'll be Marquette ball with Whitney Dunn checking in and Jayla Johnson coming back in as Mallory Ramage checks out. And Maya Chandler, I believe for the first time this afternoon, gets a seat on the bench.
Well-deserved seat on the bench. Get some water, get rested, and get back out there.
As Hare fires for 3 off the rim and short. And here comes Loyola the other way. Gallinapis gets inside on Hare. Now back out to Nolan. Back out to Gallinapis.
It's scary because the more Mackenzie Hare gets that look this season and later on in her career, the more that's going to fall.
I think she may be, at one point, a top 5 3-point shooter in Marquette history as Gallinapis misses the layup off Hare's defense. What a catch from Hare and a spin. She comes out the other way. King, 3-ball again. 3-ball again, says yes!
Jordan King with 13, hitting her last 2 3-point attempts, and they've been wide open. Nice pass from Mackenzie Hare. Great look from King, and a huge bucket.
Huge bucket indeed for Jordan King, who's having a stellar season in her final season with Marquette. Over 1,000 career points, as mentioned earlier. As Gallinapis just misses the layup. And here comes King the other way. King finds Murata, thought about a 3, decides to drive instead. Layup, no good, tipped. And it's rebounded by Johnson. She slips for a second, but she's able to get back up.
This certainly doesn't look like a team that's worst in the country in rebounding. The effort that Loyola is putting in to create rebounding opportunities has been impressive tonight. something they must have focused on heading into this game.
As King gets another one, but she passes it down low to Carlin, who's doubled. And they're going to say a last win off of Carlin. And it'll be Loyola ball as Hare and Murata check out. La Chapelle and Claire Kafis. Kafis getting her first action of the afternoon after missing all of last season with an ACL tear. Has already made 5 3-pointers on the season.
Yeah, and her knee injury clearly doesn't look like it's affecting her anymore.
She's still got that brace, but in that open practice back in October that we went to as Jayla Johnson hits the mid-range shot, that first practice she went into, she took a charge from 6'4" Juliana Okuson.
Yeah, you think she's healthy? I do.
If that doesn't prove it, I don't know what else will. As Carlin was bumped there by Nolan, trying to get it out to La Chapelle. As we have reached the under 5-minute media timeout, with Marquette holding a 7-point lead, 25-18.
Yeah, Marquette's really exploded in the second half offensively. They've created good looks. Obviously, Jordan King's had a couple of threes on this end, and really impressed with how they turned around from having a slow finish to the first quarter to how quickly they picked it back up in the second. Yeah. Hopefully we don't see something like last quarter where Loyola goes on a nice run here.
Both teams will get a chance to reset as we take a look at the rebounding battle. And you said it. I mean, we said Marquette's out rebounding teams by 7. Loyola is getting out rebounded by almost 7. And right now, Marquette's only out rebounding by Loyola 11-10.
Yeah, and I think the Jayla Johnson rebound just goes to show the emphasis that's being put on rebounding in this ball game. And I've really been impressed with how they've been able to create rebounding opportunities so far in this game, and it's clearly allowed them to stay in it. I mean, up until the run that Marquette's been on for the last 4 or 5 minutes, they've been neck and neck with them since the original media timeout.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look, I mean, Sophia Nolan has 5 rebounds so far for Loyola. And meanwhile, for Marquette, it is Liza Carlin who has 5 on the afternoon. She's normally averaging about 7.9, so she's well on her way to her average. But Chloe Morota only with 2 rebounds. She's the team's leading rebounder at 9 a game.
Yeah, and she's been so effective on the boards this season. It's always been a battle between her and Liza Carlin. It was the same way last year where they averaged about the same. And this year, Chloe's obviously put a little more of an emphasis on getting the boards. And we'll see how she does. She hasn't really had too many opportunities to gather rebounds. But I think with how they've started to play her, you can kind of see that they wanted her to space the flow out a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, just talk about what Chloe Morata's doing. Like, normally she's still giving you that same production on the defensive end, getting those rebounds, those steals, those blocks. But now she's finally starting to add that scoring element. And I think it really all started with that final WNIT game here last year against Toledo, where she scored a career-high 28 points.
Yes, certainly. And having a game like that to finish off your junior season gives you so much confidence heading into this year, where you've become one of the leaders of the team after players like Van Clunen and McLaughlin left. Being able to be not only a locker room leader, but also a leader on the scoring end is so effective. And Murata's clearly embraced that this season. She's a recent honoree as a member of the Big East Honor Roll this past week for her scoring in part.
Yeah, she's been huge this season and every year of her Marquette career. Just one of another players that truly exemplifies Marquette's culture and attitude here in Milwaukee. As Liza Carlin tries to find somebody with 6 on the shot clock, she finds Claire Kafis. Shot is off. And it's going to be an offensive foul on Carlin. It's rebounded by Julia Heffling.
Yeah, Carlin going over the back there a little bit, struggling to get her body in the way to try and get that rebound.
As Heffling now has it, hands it off to Maya Chandler, who's back on the court. Not a ton of rest for Maya Chandler.
The way she scores, she probably doesn't need it. She has to be used to that.
I mean, She's leading the team in scoring and second on the team in rebounding. So she's putting it all on the floor in this season for Loyola. As there's 2 seconds on the shot clock, Johnson with a running layup, no good, and La Chapelle grabs the board. She finds Nia Clark, and it's stolen away by Gallinapis.
Good look by Emily La Chapelle. Just the two of them moving a little too quick.
As they're saying it's a kicked ball. It'll still be Loyola ball, but they'll have to take it side out of bounds. After the break there, didn't quite work out as Johnson couldn't quite handle the rebound.
Another thing to notice, Loyola's really changed their offense. Instead of working the ball through Sophia Nolan inside, they've kind of spread the floor and gone outside to in, just like on that possession where Gallinapis gets a layup.
Another big bucket for Sam Gallinapis, a 5'8" senior guard out of Skokie, Illinois. Went to Niles West High School, school I'm very familiar with, coming from Wheeling, Illinois. As Nia Clark drives, she finds a spot, misses the layup, but it's rebounded by Claire Cafis, and she gets the basket.
That ball fell right into her lap, and all you have to do is turn around and put it up, and Cafis did exactly that.
And Cafis, from the players I've been able to talk to, they talked about her toughness and her grit and her attitude and how hopefully for Marquette in this game and this season, it can be really contagious moving forward.
Yeah, Cafis talked about in that open practice, she was one of the press conference players, about how she really was not only able to, she may not have necessarily grown as a player off the court last season due to injury, but as a leader vocally for the team, she really grew.
As King finds Cafis in the short corner, bounce pass, Carlin, layup, good.
Great find from Claire Cafis. Liza Carlin waiting for it. She's already squared up to the basket, easy finish.
As they get a bounce pass into Chandler, she hits a floater in the lane. And Maya Chandler continues her hot hand. She is now 6 for 9 on the afternoon as La Chapelle drives, layup, good.
Trading layups, Maya Chandler with a great cut down there, and La Chapelle with attacking mindset, driving right to the basket, easy reversal.
6 points already for La Chapelle here this afternoon. Talking about that reset and picking up a rhythm game, I think she's in a really good rhythm now as Chivers drives on Clark, tries to find somebody, can't. Chivers 5'8", working against Nia Clark, who's almost 6 foot, as Marquette comes up with the ball as Clark finds Cafis, thought about a three, decides to work the offense in the half court. As Carlin, layup, hits front rim, tipped. She gets the board, back up. Oh, no good. Tipped, and Nia Clark gets the rebound. Carlin now finds La Chapelle, who takes a mid-range shot and is off front rim. No good. Here comes Gallinapis and the Ramblers. Chivers, 3-ball, yes!
Marquette really working on the offensive rebound again. They had so many opportunities to get a bucket, and Loyola makes them pay. Chivers was a nice 3-point bucket there.
That's a bit of a 5-point swing there as goes from potentially 2 points for Marquette to 3 points for Loyola as Liza Carlin lines up a three, no good, and Chivers comes away with the rebound.
No one contesting her underneath, easy pickup.
As Chandler fires, the three is and hits. Maya Chandler cool off a little bit. And it's a 3-point game, 31-28. Maya Chandler, 16 points in the first half.
Maya Chandler's clearly a really successful scorer against Big East schools. 23 against DePaul, which was a career high. Now already almost matching that in the first half here at the McGuire Center. She knew she was going to take that shot. That was a characteristic, clean look from her. Absolutely have to expect her to hit that shot.
I don't know if it's me, but I feel like I'm getting flashbacks to last Saturday where the men's team took on Wisconsin and Chucky Hepburn. Basically, he did miss a shot in that first half and had 16 points.
I mean,
so I have a little bit of PTSD with this right now.
I mean, he had a step back from the center logo, so yeah, a little bit of flashbacks for sure. Maya Chandler doing it all offensively for Loyola Chicago. And I mean, that's clearly going to have to be the focal point in the second half. How do we stop her from getting shots? She's clearly able to hit the tough buckets. She's able to create open shots for herself off the ball. you have to find some way to get the ball into someone else's hands if you're Marquette's defense.
Do you start doubling at this point, like on pick and rolls, or when she has the ball?
Ooh, maybe. I think if it really gets down to that and it stays a close game like this, you might have to.
As there's going to be an offensive foul.
Or, I mean, in any
Clark with the
screen
offensive
situation,
rebound.
you don't switch. You keep your best defender on Maya Chandler regardless of how they move her off the ball.
Who knows? They may have to play box and one like the Raptors did back in the 2019 NBA Finals against Steph Curry.
Hey, I mean, it was effective. They ended up winning.
That's true. That's very true. As Chandler pulls up for three again, this time she misses as Nia Clark grabs the rebound, and Marquette will look to hold for one final shot.
Yeah, no shot clock. Take your time here if you're Marquette. You don't have to rush anything. A lot of time on the clock.
15 on the clock. La Chapelle gets it over to Clark. Back over to King with 10 on the clock. King working against Chandler. Oh, she fell over. They're looking for an offensive foul, and King turns it over as Chandler will get a heave, and that barely hit the free throw line for Marquette, and the Marquette end of the basket, as Marquette will head into halftime just up 3 on Loyola Chicago as they go on another good run at the end, fueled by Maya Chandler's 16 points in the first half.
And who else to lead the Loyola Ramblers except their leading scorer? Maya Chandler has been so impressive tonight, and she will certainly be a talking point in the Marquette locker room. Yeah, we'll see how they come out in the second half against her.
So what will you just do at this point? Because you're playing pretty well offensively. Yeah, you had a few misses on some offensive rebounds, but at this point, what do you do to start trying to slow down and building up the structure of the defense? I mean, you have allowed Loyola to shoot 44% from the field and 50% from three.
Yeah, I think and half of those makes are coming from Maya Chandler. I think the box and one's a great idea. I'm serious. I'm serious. You put your best defender on Maya Chandler and you tell her, this is your matchup. You do not leave her. You do not help. You are to literally stand on her back, front, hip, whatever, for the entire second half. Don't move. On screens, don't switch. Your one focus for the rest of this ball game is defending Maya Chandler.
As crazy as it sounds, I actually kind of agree with you, but they're going to have to figure out some way to start slowing her down. But Marquette's offense has been rolling pretty well as well. Jordan King has 13 points for the Golden Eagles on 5 for 8 shooting. And also, Emily LaChapelle talked about that reset game for her. She's got 6 points on the afternoon on 3 for 5 shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked so much about Maya Chandler's 16. How about Jordan King's 13? Great first half for the senior guard. Clearly 1,000 points wasn't enough for her. She picks up 13 in the first half, 2 threes here and a couple of tough mid-range shots. Really impressed with her in the first half. And right, Emily LaChapelle, we kind of spoke it into existence. This is a perfect reset game for her. 6 in the first half. She's done everything right tonight. Really impressed with her performance so far in this ball game. Marquette's also kind of pulled away in that rebound battle like we had talked about. 18 rebounds to Loyola's 13. I think that one possession where we had 3 or 4 looks after the initial shot, that kind of helped us pull away. Regardless, Marquette creating those offensive rebounding chances and those second chance points, whether they're falling or not, is so huge because it's not necessarily about hitting the bucket, it's about creating the bucket. It'll fall at some point.
Definitely agree with that. I was just taking a look. Marquette with 4 second chance points on the afternoon. None for Loyola Chicago. Marquette also leading in points in the paint with 22 points in the paint. They've only had 9 points outside of the paint.
Yeah, I mean, they really haven't had to move outside of the paint. They've been really successful, obviously, as the stats show. They've been really successful inside, especially early in the ball game where they had those open layups. Liza Carlin's had a few chances down low. They've really had a focal point of creating offense down in the paint. I wish they kept second chance point opportunities as a
Yep.
stat, because Marquette would be blowing Loyola out of the water. Obviously, the 4 second chance points doesn't say a whole lot, but the opportunities they've created to get second chance points is also important to keep track of as well.
I think the closest you can come to that is with offensive rebounds. Marquette with 6 offensive rebounds in that first half, 12 defensive. And I mean, you look at it, most of the team stats, Marquette is basically outplaying Loyola. I mean, they got 4 blocks to Loyola's 1. Each team with 7 turnovers. Marquette has 10 assists on 12 made shots here this afternoon. It's just Loyola's hitting some big shots and Maya Chandler's hitting some big shots.
I was going to say, Marquette's outplaying the 4 players on the floor not named Maya Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at the scoring differential for Loyola. I mean, Maya Chandler, she's got 16, but the next leading scorers is Gallipanapis with 4. Chivers hit that 1-3 ball, and then Jayla Johnson hit a 2-point shot, and that's it. That's how Loyola's gotten to 28.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even proves my point even more, that the only focus in the second half has to be defending Maya Chandler, because clearly the other 4 on the floor have not been as effective offensively. I mean, Maya Chandler with 16 speaks so loudly to how Loyola's offense has been running in this first half.
I mean, you take a look at it, and just the split between her and the rest of the team. Chandler is 7 for 11. Loyola as a team is shooting 12 for 27. That means the rest of Loyola Chicago's roster is shooting 5 for 16.
Hey, I mean, again, keep proving my point more. Box and 1, ladies and gentlemen. Box and 1.
And as mentioned previously, it's been a balanced scoring effort for Marquette, but a couple of players struggling so far this afternoon. Liza Carlin has 2 points, but it's on 1 for 6 shooting, but she's been able to make up for it at least a little bit with 6 rebounds on the afternoon.
Yeah, she has. And the looks are there. They're just not falling. Liza Carlin has been so impressive all season at creating looks for herself by being physical inside. And I think she's showing that tonight. It's just they're just not falling, and she's getting extra looks, getting rebounds. But, hey, when they start falling, Marquette's really going to pull away in this ballgame.
It should be interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out, but that's not the only sports action going on in the world today. Trevor, what have you been seeing going on in the World Cup this afternoon?
Oh, my goodness. The last 2 days of soccer have been unbelievable. It's just such a good time for sports when the World Cup is on. Literally, it's the World Cup. The whole world gets into it. Yesterday, we saw 2 penalty kick shootouts in the quarterfinal games. Croatia pulling past Brazil. That game was unbelievable. Brazil scored in the 113th minute. Neymar with one of the goals of the tournament by far and away. Croatia answers with 3 minutes to go in extra time, and then they go to penalties and beat Brazil, who were the favorites to win the World Cup when the whole thing started. And then Argentina played Netherlands, and that game went down to the wire as well, with Weggers for the Netherlands scoring 2 goals in the last 7 minutes to send it to extra time. And then Lionel Messi did what Lionel Messi does best, and they end up pushing past Netherlands in a penalty shootout. That could have been Lionel Messi's last international game, which is crazy to think about. I mean, truly an end of an era, as him, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar are all getting to that point where it's time to start thinking about, well, is it really worth another 4 years? And we saw that today with Ronaldo, at least, as Morocco scored at the end of the first half to get past Ronaldo in Portugal. Ronaldo was extremely emotional after that game, and clearly so, as that might have been his last minutes in the red and green uniform. And then France and England was going on as we got this broadcast started. France was up when we got on the air, and let's see. France is up 2-1 in the 89th, so France looks to be heading on to face Morocco. Morocco has been the hottest team of the tournament. They're the first African nation to make it into the semifinal of the World Cup. And then on the other end, it's going to be Croatia looking to go to the final for the 2 years in a row. They're going to face Argentina, and obviously the story of the tournament, Lionel Messi's last run.
Yeah, I mean, Messi was incredible in that game against the Netherlands. Had a goal and an assist in that one.
And he hit a PK. He was the first one to shoot, and he drilled it.
Oh, imagine putting your best player to shoot your PK first instead of fourth.
See, well, that's what Brazil did. They didn't have Neymar kick till fifth, and he didn't even get a chance to take one.
That's it.
So I guess it's a risk reward. I mean, you play it strategically based on how you think the shootout's gonna go, and hey, I mean, it just didn't work out. Also, some crazy news in college basketball today. Illinois goes from beating Texas to losing by 15 to Penn State today in a Big Ten matchup, which is it's crazy how that flip-flop happens. Texas looks really good this year as a team. Other big matchups today include Houston and Alabama. Houston's first real test as a #1 team. It's their first time being a #1 team in over 30 years, I think. So they got to play Alabama today, a team that beat North Carolina in that, what was it, quadruple overtime thriller back in I think it was the Bahamas. And then also Arizona plays Indiana tonight in Las Vegas, a matchup of size. Trace Jackson Davis for Indiana is one of the best centers in the country, and he has to go up against the two-headed monster of Omar Ballo and Buzelis for Arizona, two guys who really lit it up in Maui. Omar Ballo especially, he had quite the tournament. Arizona won that whole thing. They beat Creighton in the final.
It's been an insane run for all those teams this year. Just taking a look at some of the women's games going on. Some ranked teams are going to be in action this afternoon and this evening. Got UCLA taking on Cal State Fullerton. Utah's going to take on BYU, battle in Utah. And then Iowa will take on Minnesota in a Big Ten matchup. Talk about Caitlin Clark leading the nation in scoring at 27.2 a game.
I mean, what's new? We saw that from her last year. She came out of the scene as one of the top scorers in the country, and she just continues to do that this year. She's been so impressive early on, and she's one of the reasons why Iowa is such a huge threat in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, just she's been insane. She's now a junior.
Hey, Dowling Catholic grad. Shout out to my mom and her sisters, all Dowling Catholic grads. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, take a look. She had 45 points on December 1st versus NC State. Just the numbers are ridiculous. I mean, 48% from the field, 33% from three, 82% from the free throw line. I mean, scoring-wise, and she's got 62 assists. I mean, what scoring and offensively can Caitlin Clark not do?
Seriously, you think she's going to play pro? I think she's going to. I mean, she's easily a top 3 pick in the WNBA draft whenever she decides to go. Just having that ability to put up 40-point nights consistently is unbelievable.
She's going to make a WNBA team very, very happy at some point.
Absolutely.
After next season. I mean, career.
A lot of firepower.
Oh, for sure. A ton of firepower. And she has, I mean, last year she had a career high 46. I mean, even it was in this calendar year, actually, with when she took down Michigan, 46 points in that game on February 2nd. Just an insane run for Caitlin Clark this season. And not to be outdone, Maddie Siegrist at Villanova, she's averaging 27 a game.
Yeah, a whole lot of firepower in the Big East. Obviously, Siegrist, Moreau for DePaul.
Yep.
You can even throw some of our girls in there, Jordan King, Chloe Murata, and then, of course, once healthy, Paige Beckers just makes the Big East Conference look so strong. And it's hard to not, like we talked about earlier, put 5-6 teams in there for the Big East just because of how strong the conference is with players like that leading the way.
And that's not even to mention Lauren Park Lane from Seton Hall. She had 30 points against Marquette.
Tore it up last Sunday.
Exactly.
And she's been doing that for her whole career against, especially Marquette. She's played really strong offensive matchups against us.
Yeah, Lauren Park Lane has been a problem for a while, and she even helped Marquette get the 4 seed last year in the Big East tournament, where Seton Hall was playing DePaul on the road, and if DePaul won, they were going to be the 4 seed, but obviously if Seton Hall was able to win it, Marquette took care of business against St. John's last year. It was between Lauren Park Lane. She was the engine behind Seton Hall's offense, and why Marquette was able to be that 4 seed in the Big East tournament. Obviously, it didn't end up mattering because in the next round they had to play the number 1 seed UConn with healthy Paige backers, Azzy Fudd and Aaliyah Edwards. Not to mention Nikia Mule, who is a defensive monster for UConn.
UConn rejoining the Big East. Obviously, it's like, oh no, we have to play UConn twice. But it's like, oh my gosh, the Big East just became so much better as a conference. Having obviously one of the greatest programs in history. Having one of the greatest programs in history joining the conference.
Yeah, Gino Auriemma has built one of the greatest college programs in college, like history programs. Like how long he's been able to keep this up switching between different conferences has been nothing short of legendary.
Oh, and I think it rivals some of the pro dynasties.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, they won almost 100 games in a row as a program, but spanning between 4 or 5 seasons. That is just unbelievable. You don't see that anywhere.
And they were able to play as well as they did last year with a majority season with Paige Beckers out. And she's going to be out again this year, unfortunately, unless maybe until postseason tournament time. But another knee injury. Azzy Fudd is already out for UConn. She's going to be out, I believe, for a couple more weeks, which puts her availability against Marquette during December into some doubt. We'll see eventually how that goes out. But Big East is a tough conference. They sent, I believe, four or 5 teams to the tournament last year. Obviously, UConn, Creighton, Villanova, Seton Hall, and DePaul all going to the tournament last year. Marquette was the first team out of the tournament. Obviously, going on that huge run in the NIT tournament last year.
Yeah, for sure. And expect that number of teams in the tournament this year to go up. I think Marquette's definitely creating a resume that allows them to play in the tournament, having wins in the Bahamas over number 3 Texas and that Gonzaga team, which is pretty much locking themselves up a spot as well.
And I mean, they had a pretty solid game as Jordan King hits a mid-range shot out of halftime as Marquette gets the first points. And I mean, they even had a tough loss against UCLA in overtime.
Yep.
So quite the resume already. See what Marquette can do as Jordan King gets another steal. Here she comes, free layup, and she takes it to the bank.
Jordan King makes that play look so effortless. She reads the pass, picks it off, and just a nice, easy, layup. All right, next possession.
You could say she has 99 play recognition at this point.
Absolutely.
As it's in the corner for Maya Chandler. Tipped. And here comes Marquette the other way. Liza Carlin gets it up to Nia Clark. Clark bounce pass, and it's stolen away by Maya Chandler. What recovery. She was in the far right corner when the play started, and she's able to get all the way down to the paint.
And that's the leadership that Maya Chandler possesses, being able to do it on both ends of the floor. She creates a turnover in the offensive end and then comes back the other way and stops Marquette from getting points off of that. Impressive play from her.
As Gallipanakis missed the layup, here comes Marquette the other way. Carlin spins, and her shot is blocked.
And that shot was blocked by Heffling, who is known as a shot blocker on this team. She had 54 last season, which was the 3rd most in a single season in program history. Carlin having to go up against one of the better shot blockers that she'll see.
As Jordan King is able to get the pass off the inbound and is able to score the quick layup. Jordan King now up to 19 points on the afternoon.
Jordan King went into the locker room and kept those shooting hands warm, clearly. Impressive start for her in the second half.
As Gallipanakis drives on Carlin, floater's up, floater no good. Liza Carlin now over to Nakumu. Gets up to Clark on the break. Clark crossover, gets into the lane, up and good.
Marquette has had their way all night in the paint. I know we talked about that at halftime, about the difference between their points in the paint and points outside of the paint. And really, I mean, that's another example of how successful they've been tonight inside.
I mean, it also goes back to how they were playing defense in those first 5 minutes as Chloe Murata gets a steal. She comes the other way. Layup is good. And that's going to be another timeout from Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, Guth has to call one there. Marquette with another impressive run to open up the second half just as the same way they opened up the first. Creating turnovers, getting easy buckets. Marquette starting to pull away here, but then again, Loyola Chicago out of timeouts has been so impressive, so this is another chance for them to show how they respond to Marquette's hot start.
Marquette out of the break is on a 10-0 run, and has made 5 of their last 6 baskets here in the second half. I mean, just talk about an impressive run out of the gate to kind of make a statement after Marquette really struggled at points throughout that first half defensively.
Yeah, certainly, and I think Marquette's clearly come out in the second half and focused on getting the ball out of Maya Chandler's hands. They forced her to pass, and they forced her to pass into a turnover on one of those possessions a few minutes ago. And I think that's been another effective way that they've been able to be so hot to start the second half, getting the ball out of her hands, forcing everyone else to get shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we talked about. It's not quite the box and one
No,
you were
I
hoping
know.
for.
Come on. Come on, Coach Duffy.
But still really solid defensive game plan so far
Yeah, it has
for
been.
Marquette.
I mean, what else do you talk about at halftime? Maya Chandler's been really the obviously one of the top stories of this ball game, and she's really been someone that they have to focus on defensively, because I mean 16 points in the first half compared to what we were talking about, where the other members on her team had maybe 10 combined.
Right.
I mean that says something.
Yeah, they had 12 combined points in that first half. And I mean, Marquette, talking about the defensive effort here so far in the second half, they've already forced 3 turnovers here from Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, they have, and that's creating those points off of turnovers has been so crucial for Marquette's run that they've gone on to start this second half.
When you talk about the difference in those turnovers.
Yeah, 4 points off of turnovers for Marquette since the break.
And I mean, Marquette, they forced 5 turnovers in that first quarter, but only 2 in the second. So definitely getting back to that defensive mindset that Coach Duffy is really ingrained into this Marquette program, where sometimes the offense isn't going to be working, but as long as the defense is, you got a shot to win every game against anybody.
Absolutely. I don't know if her and men's head coach Shaka Smart talked about that, but both coaches really set a precedent that we're going to be defense-first basketball teams. The offense will follow. Everyone knows how to score. It's a matter of how well do you stop everyone else from scoring on the other end.
As Chandler goes up, the shot is blocked from Liza Carlin.
Carlin in the right spot at the right time. Maya Chandler runs right into her and nowhere to go, but put that shot up into her hands. Great set. Great job by Liza Carlin setting herself.
And I will say to finish that point is that ball is tipped out of bounds. I'll say that Shaka Smart got that from Duffy since Duffy was at Marquette
That's
first.
true. That's very true. That's a good point. Coach Duffy really setting the tone.
Exactly. That's what you're hoping for. As Marquette now with the ball. Nakumu finds Liza Carlin. Handoff for Nia Clark. King, 3-ball. For a little bit far on the far side of the rim, and it's no good. And here comes Loyola. Little hezzy from Anna Brown. Heffling back over to Brown. Finds Nolan inside. It's tipped and stolen.
Hello.
But they're going to call a steal, or excuse me, a foul on Murata.
Yeah, Murata kind of came in from behind to take that, and it's an unfortunate call, but coming in from the back is going to incline referees to call a foul there more often than not. If you come from the side or in front and you just take it, I mean, that's a clean play.
I also think maybe there was a hold there as well, as Marquette comes the other way with another steal. Neil Clark crossover into the lane. Oh, no good. Loose. And it's rebounded by Heffling. As it's up to Chandler now. Galanapis. Heffling, handoff for Brown. Temporary switch, but Carlin recovers back out to Heffling. Brown fakes a handoff. Guns Galvanapis down low. She beats Nakumu on the backdoor cut.
And Galvanapis kind of switched from her left to her right hand, going up on the left side of the basket. That's an awkward layup, an impressive make from her.
Esmeralda and Nia Clark were not on the same page as the ball goes out of bounds, and Marquette will turn it over with Loyola now with the ball.
Emily LaChapelle is going to check in here for Marquette.
It's the Golden Eagles' second turnover here in this third quarter. They've already forced 4 from Loyola Chicago. As Jayla Johnson is in for Loyola with, that's Kira Chivers, Maya Chandler, Anna Brown, and Sophia Nolan. Out there from Marquette is Chloe Murata. She gets the steal. Picked off the pass in midair. She finds LaChapelle down low, and they're going to call a jump ball, and it'll be Loyola ball with Marquette up 41-30.
Yeah, Emily LaChapelle got bear hugged there underneath the basket. That's an interesting jump ball call from behind. I'm not sure if I agree with that. LaChapelle creating another look for offensively, just unlucky. Chloe Murata also picked off that pass really, really nicely. Johnson telegraphed her look.
As now stolen by Jordan King. Here comes Marquette. She gets it to Nia Clark. Layup, good.
Loyola Chicago is really doing not a great job of telegraphing their passes. Marquette has picked up on almost every single one in the second half here.
And now that's 6 turnovers for Loyola Chicago and the Ramblers. As Chivers probes, gets out to Nolan for 3. Yes! Corner 3 ball is good for Sophia Nolan.
Yeah, good look for Sophia Nolan. She's actually a St. John's transfer, so Marquette's pretty familiar with Sophia Nolan's game.
As Carlin goes up, the shot is blocked. It'll be Marquette ball as we've reached the under 5-minute media timeout here at the McGuire Center, with Marquette holding on to a 10-point lead, 43-33 over the Loyola Chicago Ramblers.
Yeah, and Marquette's defense here in the second half has really allowed them to get off to such a hot start in the first 5 minutes here of the third quarter, especially the turnovers. I mean, they've created 6 turnovers in the second half already. They have 6 points off those turnovers. That's been so effective for them and their ability to get off to a big lead. The paint's been wide open as well for Marquette. Outside of that Jordan King jumper, I think every point they've scored in the second half here has been a layup.
Take a look at that in a second. I mean, you're taking a look at the field goals. Marquette shooting 6 for 10. They've only allowed Loyola Chicago 5 shot attempts in the third quarter, 2 for 5.
And how many of those shots have fallen in Maya Chandler's hands? Maybe 1, if that.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at those points in the paint you were talking about, Marquette has scored 12 points in the quarter already, 10 of them coming inside, especially on the fast break. They also have, of those 10 points in the paint, 8 of them have been fast break points.
Yeah, I think the fast break and the turnovers, all of that is really allowing the Marquette to play quick. They've had total control of the second half of this ball game. Coming out of the timeout, I think Loyola needs to do everything in their power to allow Maya Chandler to create shots off the ball.
Yeah, it's been an impressive defensive effort so far for Marquette in this second half already. And I mean, who's really sticking out to you on both sides? Or I guess we've already talked about Maya Chandler a ton.
Right.
But who's really sticking out to you, Marquette, so far here this afternoon?
Yeah, well, Jordan King has had an impressive start to the second half. She has 6 points in the half, 19 overall. She's 8 of 12 from the field. She's been able to hit shots from 3. She's been obviously the leader offensively for Marquette so far in this ball game. But also, Nia Clark's been really great as well on both ends of the floor. She's the one in charge of guarding Maya Chandler in the second half, and clearly her work is paying off. Chandler's offensive output has been suppressed so far in the second half. Clark with 6 points. She just had a layup to force the timeout, and yeah, I've been really impressed with those two so far today. Also, Liza Carlin, even though offensively she hasn't really gotten much to fall, she has created so many opportunities off of her rebounds. She has at least half her rebounds on the offensive side, 8 in total for her today.
And 2 of those rebounds have been offensive as Marquette will have the ball on their side of the half court as Murata gets the layup to go and the drop step layup.
Yeah, tough layup into Anna Brown, the guard. She had some size advantage there. She took the advantage of that by going up. Good finish from Murata.
As Chandler tries to find Anna Brown, she does. She's locked up, and Rose Rakumu rips the ball away. They're going to call a jump ball, but it was possession arrow Marquette anyway. What a play from Rose Nakumu.
Yeah, it was, and Loyola's trying to go back to their roots of forcing the ball inside and kicking it out, and Anna Brown was unable to kick it back out to Maya Chandler. Great defensive possession for Marquette.
As Emily LaChapelle looks for a layup, she gets the layup to go or to float up, no good. And now it's out to Murata, and now over to Nakumu. Gets the screen for Murata. She drives inside, layup, no good. No call either way as here comes Loyola Chicago. Maya Chandler, 3-ball, no good. And it's rebounded by Murata.
Yeah, no one really looked to see where Maya Chandler was in transition. That's why she got that open look.
As Emily LaChapelle hits a mid-range shot after shot faking to get back into the inside of the three-point line. And Marquette holds a 14-point lead, 8 points for the Appleton, Wisconsin native.
Yeah, Emily LaChapelle really settling into her own offensively, something we haven't seen a whole lot from her this season. Such a productive night from her on the offensive end.
As Chandler gets it down low to Emma Nolan, and it's a easy, wide-open layup inside, and Marquette will try to respond the other way. As Nakumu looks, finds Murata. Now over to LaChapelle, and they try to get out to Murata. It was tipped. Oh, excuse me, it was not tipped. It'll be Loyola ball coming back the other way.
Errant pass there for Emily LaChapelle. Marquette was trying to do that pick and pop that they've shown to be successful all afternoon, and LaChapelle didn't have as broad of a window as she thought to get that ball to Murata, and unfortunately it goes out of bounds and is a turnover there for Marquette.
Those 8 points so far for LaChapelle, already a new career high after she scored 5 points on November 13th against UW Milwaukee. Up to 8 points today is they're going to call a blocking foul on Liza Carlin. She kind of bumped Kira Chivers basically out of the play.
Yeah, and they're going to call that every time. That's a good foul call. You have to. I mean, especially in a mismatch like that, that's an easy call for the ref.
And there's almost a hip check for the 6'2" Liza Carlin on the 5'8" Kira Chivers as the 3-ball from Nolan, Sophia Nolan, is no good. Here comes Nakumu and the Golden Eagles the other way. They get it inside to Carlin. Easy layup, easy basket.
That was a great pass from Rosa Kumu to Liza Carlin. Had to go over Nolan, the defender.
Chandler tries to drive inside, almost makes the layup. It's rebounded by Sophia Nolan. She misses the layup, and it's rebounded by Kennedy Miles. She finally battles the ball away, gets it up to King before the 10-second call. Tries to find somebody, and she'll get over Nakumu with 2:13 left here in this third quarter, with Marquette up 49-35. Nakumu finds King down low. She gets the layup to go. Rose Nakumu showing off some playmaking ability here as Gallipanapis gets to the lane with ease and scores the layup right back.
And Kumu's been the catalyst for the offense the last 2 possessions, creating looks for her teammates. Great cut from Jordan King and an even greater pass from Nkumu.
Iowa City native is Nakumu. As Carlin finds King again down low, layup is good. 23 points for number 23 on the afternoon.
How about Jordan King's offensive night?
As Emma Nolan tries to take a 3, no good. That's going to be an offensive foul on Maya Chandler. Her first foul in the afternoon. And it'll be Marquette ball as they are closing in on a 20-point lead, 53-37.
And if you would have told me at the end of the first half that we'd almost have a 20-point lead in the second half, I kind of would have looked at you crazy, especially with the way Maya Chandler's played offensively in the first half. This has been a really impressive domination from Marquette in the second half.
As it's now out to Liza Carlin. She tries to find a shot. She gets a floater. Oh, rims out. No good. Gets another opportunity. Misses the layup short. This has been a rough afternoon for Liza Carlin. She's now 2 for 10.
It's more important that she's creating herself the opportunity. And I mean, shots aren't going to.
Oh, Kennedy Miles with the block. Sorry to cut you off there. That was a big play from Kennedy Miles.
And as I was saying, the shots are going to fall or not fall. I mean, it's just the nature of basketball. The fact that she's creating herself the opportunities is more important because on one day she's going to have 80% of her shots fall instead of the 15, 20% that are falling today. And great effort by Kennedy Miles on the defensive end to create that block on Chandler. It was a foul, but
probably a blocking foul more than anything else.
Yeah.
As Chandler goes 2 of 2 from the free throw line.
Miles was all over that shot.
Those are her Chandler's first points in the second half, and we're just about 45 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that Marquette really focused on stopping her in the second half, and it's worked because Loyola's offense has been near to non-existent here since the break.
As it's stolen away by Nia Clark, she tries to get it inside. She finds Liza Carlin as the ball bounces around, and Liza Carlin finds getting her locked some way to her way. As Loyola Chicago will hold for one more shot with Marquette, up by 18, 55 to 39, or excuse me, 16, 55 to 39. As it's poked loose, Chandler has it. Shot is up. Shot is no good. Air balls. But she had to basically take that shot from the Marquette logo.
And who else's hands to have the ball in for a last-second shot than Maya Chandler. Great defense there by Chloe Murata at the top of the key, not allowing her to get a good look.
There's only 0.2 seconds left on the clock, so after the inbound, the clock expires, and Marquette is 10 minutes away from another victory and going to 5-0 at home. So they lead Loyola Chicago Ramblers 55 to 39.
We got to talk about a few. We got to talk about a few potential career nights for some Marquette guards. Rosen Kumu is 2 assists away from her career high at 9, and Jordan King is 2 points away from her career high at 25. What a way for Jordan King to score 1,000 points in the road and then come back and potentially have a career high the next game. What a way to celebrate her accomplishments.
And the only reason she may do this here this afternoon instead of on Wednesday is because between Marquette and Morgan State, the game was canceled on Wednesday, December 7th, because there was some COVID complications within the Morgan State program. When we talked with Coach Duffy, there was some hope that they could reschedule the game, but with Big East play really coming around the corner, it's not super likely that Marquette and Morgan State will play this year. Sorry for all the Marquette and Morgan State matchup enthusiasts that were really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And with finals week coming for both schools as well, they're called student athletes for a reason, so you got to take that into account and allow the students to focus on their studies.
Yeah, it's a big thing for both these programs to have to focus on that. We're in the thick of it right now as well as student journalists.
Yes,
so.
Yeah, certainly. It's so hard to balance both.
It really is. It can be really tough to balance both, but it's been a good game here so far this afternoon. We'll see.
Yeah, it has. Yep. Marquette's really come out in the second half and shown that this team's not messing around. They kind of let Maya Chandler have fun in the first half, and clearly there was effort made to not allow her to get the basketball in the second half. And I think the turnovers created and just the overall awareness of where Maya Chandler is on any given possession has really allowed Marquette to pull away in the second half.
Yeah, and talking about that point earlier about Marquette potentially going to 5-0 at home. The McGuire Center this past fall has been used to some winning as the Marquette women's volleyball team went a program first 17-0 at home here at the McGuire Center.
Yeah, what an impressive season for Marquette volleyball. Able to make the Sweet 16 this year. I'm just really impressed with how their season finished. Unfortunately, they ran into the #1 team in the whole tournament in Texas. Certainly in a horns-up environment down in Austin. But no, yeah, what an impressive season, and what a way for them to showcase their talent on a national level here at the McGuire Center in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, it was such a tough matchup for Marquette. They did end up winning 1 set. They lost in 4, and I mean, still an impressive season nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Second time in program history they made the Sweet 16, and that set 3 win that they had is the first set they've won in the Sweet 16 in program history, after the last time they were swept in 2018 by the then #3 University of Illinois Fighting Illini, as Jordan King ties her career high, 25 points on that layup. And Marquette starts out the 4th quarter with a big basket as they look to go up by 20.
Yeah, King with an easy layup. She's had those going her way all night.
As Galpanapis gets a step-through layup to go on Liza Carlin and responds. And she gets the first points for Loyola Chicago here in the 4th quarter. Rose Nkumu finds Jordan King. Looking for somebody. She decides to pass to Nia Clark, who's doubled. Now over to Nkumu. King thought about a 3, but decides not to take it. Now back over to Murata. She does a couple crossover moves. She tries to get it somewhere, but it's blocked by Heffling. Julia Heffling. It'll be Marquette ball with 3 seconds on the shot clock underneath the basket.
Yeah, Julia Heffling once again getting her hands on the basketball here in the second half, creating some havoc defensively. She had a block earlier in the 3rd quarter, and now she forces Marquette to reset.
See if Marquette can pull off here. They try and find somebody. They find Carlin. 1 on the shot clock. Fade away. No good. And they're going to call a foul on Kira Chivers. She kind of got underneath the landing spot for Chloe Murata. And that'll leave Marquette with a 20-second shot clock with the ball underneath the basket once again.
And that's a mistake you can't have if you're Loyola Chicago trying to get back into this ball game. Simple fouls like that. You get the aggressive play, but it only comes back and hurts you.
As Liza Carlin is called on a travel, and Loyola Chicago escapes that defensive possession, and will have the ball coming back the other way with Sam Galpanapis coming the other way for Loyola Chicago. So the Marquette fans here in attendance trying to get on to bring some energy here inside the McGuire Center. Maya Chandler floater, and it hits. It hit off the back part of the rim, front part of the rim, and goes in. That's 20 points so far for Maya Chandler.
Yeah, and her getting the ball early in the 4th quarter is definitely a sign of what Loyola wants to do offensively.
Oh, what a tic-tac-toe passing play from Marquette. Nia Clark to Jordan King to Chloe Murata to Liza Carlin, who scores.
Several hockey assists on that possession, and Liza Carlin reaping the benefits of the passing with an easy lay.
Galpanapis finds Brown, pulls up for 3, no good. Rebound is long, it's picked up by Chivers. Here comes Chandler, guarded by Nkumu. She drives, the ball is poked at, and she hits off front of the backboard badly, as it's a touchdown pass for Nia Clark. It's touched, blast off of Heffling, and it'll be Marquette ball with 26 on the shot clock. Kenzie Hare comes in for Marquette for her first action of the second half, after basically and she didn't play at all in that 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Marquette hasn't really used her a lot today.
It's been the other first year, Emily LaChapelle, who's had the strong effort here this afternoon. They're going to call it jump ball, but it'll be Marquette ball still, up 59-43. And Marquette will once again try and get the ball in bounds. 7:30 left to play here in this 4th quarter, as they do get in bounds easily to Nkumu. Nkumu, Kenzie Hare, 3 ball. Oh, no good. She hit it short. And it'll be Loyola Chicago and the Ramblers coming the other way, as Chivers works against Nkumu. Chandler still out there, guarded by Kenzie Hare. She's able to get through the off-ball screen. Good help from Liza Carlin. Excuse me, and now Anna Brown gets a mid-range shot. No good, rebounded by Jordan King. King up to Nakumu. Nakumu thought about getting it to Hare, but decides not to as Carlin pulls up a three. Oh, she airballs that one. Not a great look from Liza Carlin. She's been much improved from the three-point line this year, but that's not some evidence you would want to put in the case for that.
Nope. Nothing but air, nothing but net, not in a good way. Liza Carlin, she kind of rushed that shot a little bit, I think.
Maybe just a little bit as they try to find Maya Chandler in the corner. And Coach Guth gets the ball off the tip from Rose Nakuma.
Nice hands from Coach Guth.
I mean, she did play a little bit of college basketball in her day.
Taking her back.
Taking her back. As Brown drives in, and not sure what the call is. It is a charge. Liza Carlin takes the charge on Anna Brown. It was a bit of a drop in the bodies there. Not sure exactly what happened on that one, but the end result is a charge, and then ball for Marquette. It's been a pretty clean game up to this point. 9 fouls called on Loyola Chicago, only 6 for Marquette, but 4 of those 9 fouls have been called on Anna Brown.
Yeah, she's unfortunately got to sit with foul trouble, and Coach Guth is not happy with the charge call. And I want to point out that earlier she was on the last possession, before the charge, she was trying to force the ball into Maya Chandler's hand as Loyola struggled to create a shot on the possession. And as she's pointing at Maya Chandler and says, get the ball into her hands. Let Maya Chandler cook, ladies and gentlemen.
As I think she was open in the corner and just no one saw her open.
And how do you not? I just find that crazy.
As Kenzie Hare pulls up for 3 again, misses, and there's a career high for Jordan King, 27 points.
How about that? We spoke it into existence again. There's the chance of it happening, and Jordan King makes the new career high happen. 27 for her at home on the McGuire floor on her day.
As Gal Panapis gets a mid-range shot to go for Loyola. As Marquette leads 61-45 as King works again. Tries to find somebody, but stolen away by Chivers. Chivers on the fast break finds the Gal Panapis. And that's going to be a travel call. She got her feet moving before the ball started moving.
Yeah, trying to push the pace a little too quickly.
As Kenzie Hare comes out for Claire Cafis. Kenzie Hare's only played 7 minutes on the afternoon, and she is 0 of 3 from the three-point line and 0 of 3 from the field. She does have a rebound and an assist, though, on the afternoon.
Yeah, Hare just has not been effective on the offensive end. And
as Liza Carlin misses the first shot, but gets her rebound and gets the shot to go again. She's shooting 4 for 16, and she is on double-double alert with, she just got a double-double. 10 points and 11 rebounds for Liza Carlin.
Yeah, we talked about her not getting shots to fall, and here she is in the fourth quarter heating up.
As the shot is no good from Sophia Nolan, and Morana got the rebound. Now it's into Carlin, tipped, and they're going to call a foul on Sophia Nolan. The fourth team foul on Loyola Chicago. As we reach the under 5-minute media timeout with your Marquette Golden Eagles leading the Loyola Chicago Ramblers 63-45.
Yeah, Marquette just continuing to go on a tear offensively. They've really been impressive. Obviously, Jordan King scoring a couple buckets out into the fourth quarter and getting a new career high, and Liza Carlin with a double-double. 2 players that have been really influential so far this season for Marquette, doing the dirty work.
Yeah, it's been a really impressive day from Jordan King, and of course the day she gets 1,000 points, she's like, why not I add 27 more on top of that?
Absolutely. Make it National Jordan King Day. Someone make a phone call. Today is Jordan King Day, a career high, the 1,000-point celebration. What more can you ask for?
We'll try and get the phone line over to President Michael Lovell to see what he can do and put it on the Marquette calendar going forward.
Perfect. get me on the phone with Prez Lovell. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
I'm sure he'd love to be talking with you.
Right.
Big supporter of Marquette athletics, but I don't know if he could go. He could go that far. Who knows?
Yeah. It's worth a shot though. Give us 100% of the shots you don't take.
But outside of Jordan King, it's been a strong effort out from Marquette as a whole. Liza Carlin, the only other double-digit scorer for Marquette, but Emily LaChapelle, she's got 8 points. Nia Clark's got 6. Chloe Morana's got 6, and Rose Nkumu has not scored since those first 2 layups in that first quarter on the fast break.
Well, I mean, and regardless of that, she's had a lot of assists. She's created opportunities, not just taking some herself. She was the fire starter for the run in the beginning of the game, and she's just fed off of that energy and created shots for her teammates. She leads the floor with 7 assists and 2 off of her career high still. Regardless of only having 4 points, she has been able to create shots.
She's been playing really strong on the defensive end. I mean, taking a look, she's got obviously those 7 assists, but also 2 steals on the afternoon. Jordan King leads all players this afternoon with 3 steals, along with Maya Chandler, who's got 3.
Yeah, King averages a little over 2 a game, so that stat will go up after today's ball game.
Just a little bit of a up on those stats. As Marquette will slowly be coming back onto the court. It will be Marquette ball as Claire Kafis will inbound right in front of Marquette's bench. As they get it into King. Now over to Kafis, pass fake. King to Nia Clark. Murata, and it's stolen away. Sophia Nolan.
That's great defense from Sophia Nolan. She read that pass the whole way. Marquette's really looked to get the ball inside to Carlin here in the second half, and Nolan with great heads up to pick that off.
Now Claire Kafis will guard Kia Chervis. Now it's a handoff to Maya Chandler, guarded by Murata. Out to Nolan. She drives into the paint. Now it's off to her. Emma Nolan, and the shot is no good, but there's a foul call. That'll send Emma Nolan to the free throw line for a couple of shots.
Yeah, Nolan trying to connect with Nolan there. A good look for Emma Nolan, and she's able to get free throws out of it.
As she misses the first. Emma Nolan, a senior forward of Valparaiso, Indiana. As she knocks down the second. It'll be Marquette now still leads 63-46 with just under 4:20 to play. As she almost gets another steal, but they get to Murata. Now over to Kafis. Kafis looks. Can't find anybody. Finds Carlin there, and she gets an easy layup to go. Liza Carlin.
Carlin squares up to the basket off the glass. Great look as well to find her inside. Liza Carlin really coming alive here in the second half.
As the shot is no good there, Marquette will come the other way. Kafis to Clark. Clark mishandles a little bit, but is able to get her dribble under control. Now over to Jordan King. 3:40, just about 3:40 left here this afternoon as King just loses the ball. And it'll be Marquette the other way. Loyola Chicago the other way is Maya Chandler. Works against King, drives, spins back the other way, bounce pass to Emma Nolan. Drives on Carlin, fakes, goes inside, and that's going to be a foul on Claire Kafis.
Yeah, Emma Nolan went between Kafis and Carlin. It's just a matter of who you call the foul on. They decided on Kafis. Player's going to take a break as Emily LaChapelle checks back into the game for Marquette. Nolan goes right back to the line, hitting her last attempt. We'll see if she can connect on these 2.
First one is good. Loyola trying to slowly work their way back in, but it's a tough battle right now as they trail by 18 points. 65-47 as the second free throw is good after hitting front rim, and back in.
Put back the other way. Here's Jordan King, guarded by Chivers. She finds Clark on the wing. Over to LaChapelle, top of the key.
Now over to Jordan King. She finds Murata on the roll. Bounce pass to Carlin. Inside, LaChapelle's wide open. Talk about career highs. Emily LaChapelle, the first time in her college career she has double-digit points. As Chivers misses the three ball, misses the three ball, and Marquette will come the other way.
Yeah, Emily LaChapelle makes a great cut and is in the right spot at the right time. Wide open inside, easy finish for her.
So for those wondering, Sophia and Emma Nolan are twin sisters as Jordan King hits the three. Her first 30-point game in her college career.
Jordan King with a 30 ball. She continues to have the hot hand tonight for the Marquette Golden Eagles. She's hit on a couple of three-pointers in this ball game.
As the layup from Sophia Nolan is no good, they'll get it to Jordan King and try and drain some clock here with just over 2 minutes to go. And it'll be Coach Duffy calling timeout. With Marquette up 70-48 with 2:10 left here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, we were wondering pregame whether or not Emma and Sophia were sisters. It seemed too good to be true that they went to the same high school, graduated the same year. But and you could totally see the resemblance that they're sisters.
Yep, they both played at Marquette Catholic High School.
Okay.
In Valparaiso. Sophia Nolan is the second. She's actually the second leading scorer, shooting scoring 10.5 a game, while also shooting over 40% from the three-point line.
Yeah, and she's the St. John's transfer, so the two kind of parted ways for a little bit, and we're kind of like, might as well come together for our last year.
Do you have any siblings, Trevor?
I do. A younger brother, Ryan, who's 16, and then my sister, Melanie, is 13.
Would you ever want to play basketball on the same team with your brother at any point?
I played my senior year of soccer. I got to play with my brother in his freshman year, so it's a really cool experience, actually. It's definitely something special. I'll never forget my time spent with him on the pitch. Basketball, I think we think too differently. I don't know if I can put up with him on the court.
Fair enough. As Galpinappis drives into the paint. Nolan thought about a three, doesn't take it, gets it over to her sister. Now back over, layup, no good. Tipped, Chivers with the rebound. Hand off to Sophia Nolan. That was Galpinappis with the layup. She's got 14 points on the day. Maya Chandler has 20. Combined for 34 of the 50 points for Loyola Chicago this afternoon as she finds LaChapelle. Keep racking up those points, Emily.
Yeah, Emily LaChapelle once again showing how she's doing everything right on both ends of the floor. Great cut, good heads-up basketball IQ play for the first year.
As they're going to call a blocking foul on Liza Carlin there with a bunch of young players on the court for the Golden Eagles. That's Liza Carlin's third as Micaiah Williams checked us in.
I think Liza Carlin's night's going to be done.
Wouldn't be surprising. You got just over a minute left. You're up by 22. I think it's safe to say that.
I think it's a fair assumption.
As on the floor for Marquette right now is Nia Clark, Kennedy Miles, Micaiah Williams, Kenzie Hare, Emily LaChapelle, and Nia Clark. Meanwhile, for Loyola Chicago, it's the Nolan sisters, Chivers, Chandler, and Galpinappis, as the two free throws are both missed. And Marquette will move to 8-2 on the season as Coach Duffy was looking for a blocking foul as Nia Clark pearls off for three. Three to the dome as Marquette hits another three. Their fifth of the afternoon.
Nia Clark, great move off the ball. She gets herself an open look from three, and from there it's the pass and the shot. Great look for the Xavier transfer.
As Maya Chandler tries to bank home a three, it's no good. And that was Marquette's fourth made three-pointer in the afternoon. With just over 20 seconds left, about a 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Marquette will try and waste as much time as possible.
Yeah, that's the first three-pointer made by someone other than Jordan King in this game.
as Micaiah Williams scores the basket. Shot clock off. Chandler will try and get one more basket. She finds Nolan, 3-ball, yes! Clock will stop with 1.4 as Loyola Chicago, even though they get the last basket of the game, they will get out of this game with a 24-point loss, 77-53, as they fall to the Marquette Golden Eagles, who improved to 8-2 and 5-0 at home.
Yeah, what a win for Marquette, especially after the game was close in the first half. They really came out in the second half and blew the doors off of Loyola, creating turnovers and getting good looks. I think it's safe to say Jordan King, player of the game tonight, 30 points, a new career high. Impressive effort from several Golden Eagles, including Carlin with a double-double, Rosa Kuma with 7 assists, and Emily LaChapelle with a new career high in points.
And it was a really impressive effort all the way around here from Marquette this afternoon. We'll hope. As we'll go ahead, Trevor Hilson will conduct the interview with either Coach Duffy or a player that here this afternoon. We'll get that back over to them shortly. Just a quick final stat update. Obviously, Jordan King with 30 points on the afternoon on 13 of 17 shooting. Meanwhile, for Maya Chandler in Loyola Chicago, she had 20 points to lead the way. And then Sam Galpanapis had 14 points, but it wasn't enough as the rest of the team, aside from Emma Nolan, who had 11, the rest of the team combined for 10 points on an abysmal 3 for 15 shooting. Able to send that over for the interview shortly.
Jordan, great team win today. Talk about the team's performance.
Yeah, I thought in the first half we were kind of just came out the game, started strong, started to get a little bit tentative around that second half of the first quarter into the second quarter. So I thought that second half was a much better performance from everyone that stepped in that game. I thought we had much better defensive activity, and that led to our transition.
Talk about Maya Chandler. What did you guys do in halftime to prepare to defend against her in the second half after an explosive first half?
Yeah, I think we just let her get to her strengths. She had some easy buckets that we just couldn't let her get in that second half, and I thought we took care of that. Did a better job focusing on the fact that she had a great half, and didn't let that happen in the second half.
1,000 career point recognition night and a new career high with 30 points. Talk about how special this moment is for you.
I think it's super special, honestly, just to see the support that we have around here. When I hit that 1,000, all my teammates were so excited, so happy, and I mean, I really couldn't do it with any of them here, and then the past teams that I've had, and then tonight, just did what we had to do to get the win, and my teammates along there to support, and all these amazing fans. It was an amazing night.
Thank you.
Great job, Trevor, as always. Good interview with Jordan King, who had 30 points on the afternoon. A new career high after being honored for 1,000 points when she scored against Seton Hall. Well, for Trevor Hilson, this is Jackson Gross. That's going to do it today for this afternoon action of Marquette women's basketball as your Golden Eagles take down the Loyola Chicago Ramblers 77-53. You've been watching Marquette women's basketball on Marquette University Television live on YouTube. Make sure to follow us all over social media on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram.